Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I am Alexis.
And I'm Lilian.
And we actually recently moved to Amsterdam. We had a lot of people asking us like, why Amsterdam? Lilian and I have lived in Copenhagen, Berlin, Toronto. So yeah, people are just kind of wondering like, how do we go about choosing a city? You know, why Amsterdam? And you know, are these cities queer friendly?
So we thought that in this video we would talk about our favorite cities for LGBTQ plus people to live in. And we're also going to share with you the system that we have in place to choose what city to live in next. Before we jump into it, just a quick note on our sponsor for this video, which is
Ana Luisa. So Ana Luisa is a sustainable jewelry brand based out of New York City.
The pieces we're wearing today are like super subtle, but I'm all about that. You can wear it in a lot of different ways. Really versatile, simple, but good quality pieces. Alexis never takes those earrings out, and I believe the same is gonna be true for this necklace.
Well, it's just nice. Like, I just like when you can wear things in the shower and just like, yeah, just keep it on. Right now, they are having a special Mother's Day sale, so you can get 15% off of their jewelry.
So Mother's Day is coming up, and I can imagine with all that's going on, I'm not the only one who hasn't seen their mother in a while. So it's always nice to just send a little gift as a little gesture.
Or if you don't have a relationship with your mother like myself, you can also just get yourself a little gift or even a friend. Starting from $39 and up, there's something for everyone. So if you're, you know, on a budget like myself, then you can get something cheaper.
If you want to see if there's anything on there for yourself or a loved one, just go to the link below and take advantage of that 15% discount.
So let's chat about cities.
We haven't visited all cities in the world, we're far from that, and we also haven't lived everywhere.
Yeah.
But just from our personal experience, what are our favorite cities for LGBT people to live? And again, that's very personal.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about our strategy and how you can apply that to yourself later. I still think that Toronto is the most welcoming, most queer-friendly city that I've ever been to. Toronto is one of the most diverse cities in the world. Very tolerant, friendly, open.
There's always events going on. There's always like things to do. There's different groups, different meetups.
Berlin is also great. The only reason why I'm saying it's not as great as Toronto is because it's still in Germany, and Germany itself is still like fairly conservative in its way. They only legalized gay marriage like not too long ago, but Berlin itself is like accepting.
Besides Toronto, some other queer cities that you can go to in Canada are Vancouver and Montreal. Montreal, I feel like people kind of prefer to speak French there, the Quebecois. Not everyone, but it's like they prefer if you spoke French. It is really cute. It has like the cobblestones and it has like the old Montreal vibe. Like that area is really cute. So yeah, if you're into that, then you should check it out.
Yeah, and Vancouver is the most beautiful city in Canada, arguably. It has so much nature around, really nice. Everyone's super active. The only thing is that it is more like calm and quiet. Everyone's outdoorsy, and it doesn't have too much of like a nightlife or like a huge music scene and things like that.
And things there are a little more like sterile, so a little more like boxy, kind of like cookie cutter apartments.
Yeah, it's a very like expensive city, and you can tell that the people are like well off and they like their nice life.
If you go to Vancouver, you will love it. If you're into nature, we love it. It's a really nice place to visit. And there's the Netherlands, which is the first place to actually legalize gay marriage. Woo-hoo.
The thing about Copenhagen is, what I found really nice was that people there just really mind their own business, and they're like not staring at you or anything when you're holding hands or kissing, and it's like, I don't know, it's just like, it's a small city, but for a small city, it's like they have a few gay bars and stuff.
And they actually have a lesbian bar there where you go in and it's only lesbians. There's no gay guys. It's pretty shocking to see.
And then of course there is a lot of other places that would be great to consider as a queer person. It just really depends on what you're looking for. Why are American cities excluded from this discussion? That's just because we're not American, so for us it's pretty difficult to move to the States unless we have like a job that sponsors us. So there's obviously a lot of queer-friendly cities in America, but
like New York.
And we're still hoping to one day live there for just like 3 months on a visa and just, you know, before we settle down and become boring.
We'll see how that works out.
So how did we make the decision to move to Amsterdam? There are a few cities that we would even consider living in, and we actually made a list of these cities and then like a ranking system of them. The city that came out as number 1 with the highest score was Berlin, but we're like, nope, we want to leave Berlin.
But the thing is, it's like we already lived in that city, so if it was just like a brand new city that we never went to, I'm sure we would have gone there.
Yeah, we just wanted something new. Number 2, very closely followed to Berlin, was Toronto, which we then moved to.
Yeah.
Based on that, we're like, all right, Toronto it is again, let's do it. And then we went to Toronto, we're like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah. And then COVID was like, what up guys, welcome. And we're like, oh.
And Amsterdam actually only got a 5, but
why?
But thank God for Instagram, because I shared my list on there and some of you actually reached out and said, you know what, you got some categories wrong in Amsterdam. So I reevaluated and it turned out to be like a 7 or something like that in the end. So we're like,
Fast forward, here we are.
So I think the number 1 thing that you need to have when you're considering moving somewhere, when you're just thinking about that, is your mindset. Because I feel like a lot of people just think, okay, this is where I'm from, so this is where I need to stay. Anything else would be way too challenging and scary.
Unless you actually, it's like very difficult to leave your country.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a different story. And I think it's easy to get kind of like wrapped into those thoughts of like, but my family's here, but I'm gonna have to make all these new friends in this new place. And like, I don't know, that makes me really anxious to have to like learn a new city. It's a lot. And I think that when you have those thoughts, they can really push you back a lot.
You can do it. It's not as daunting as it may seem. The second thing is visa possibilities. Depending on what passport you have different options. We're very fortunate because I have a German passport, which is apparently the best passport in the world at the moment in terms of what places you can go to, and the Canadian passport is really good too.
Is it?
So for some countries you will then only be able to get a visa if you have a specific purpose in that country. Like if you have a job there, often you need to be like highly skilled.
Or maybe you're married to someone who's from there.
Or a student visa or an au pair visa, but look into the possibilities.
Okay, so number 3 is safety. I think that should be number 1, to be honest. You want to make sure that you're safe in this country, that you're not going to be like put away in jail for being yourself.
Even just people looking, making remarks, not finding your community or something like that. With that already, most countries in the world are being excluded. The next step would be, you know, what are you looking for in a city? So we made a list of our preferences, and those were the categories that we evaluated cities by. So you could be looking, for example, a place that has great nightlife, I don't know, a lot of green spaces, nature around.
Maybe you already have friends in that city as well.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to be close to family? Do you want to just get away and have something completely new? Take a moment to reflect on that and then set up your categories. But so you might wonder, so how do you then come up with the scores in these categories if you've never actually been to one of those cities, maybe?
Yeah. Good question.
There's websites that have city indexes that have their own kind of ranking system for each city in a lot of different categories. What I always like is having resources like Reddit and things like that, where a lot of people may be in a similar situation and just want to know, you know, what's it like to live in Gothenburg? And then you can read about the different cities. If you have friends there, of course you can ask, or the best way is to just visit the city and then get a feel for it as a visitor.
I find there's always these Facebook groups or just groups in general that you can find online, like expats in Copenhagen, expats in Berlin, and then you can like connect with these people even more, like narrow down, like queer expats in Berlin.
That's actually a really good tip. Facebook groups help immensely. That's the only reason why I'm still on Facebook, and I always do so much research on these Facebook groups before moving somewhere, because you know, people are there to help you. You just ask a question and then you get a specific answer to that. You can even be like, hey, like, what's it like to date someone in Germany? And then people will tell you, dating in Berlin sucks.
So the next step is to evaluate. So we did a kind of scoring system from 1 to 10, and we just kind of went through the list.
So we just then added up the scores that we gave each city for each category and came up with a ranking.
And the final step, and maybe the most obvious, is just make it happen. Focus on your goal, think about it every single day, always take steps towards your goal to move, and you'll get there.
So again, we haven't been to all cities in the world, so if you're like, what about Rio and things like that? Yes, we haven't been there. Oh, we
would
really
love
want
to go there
Rio.
though. Don't get me started.
And we will. But yeah, so please share your knowledge as well, so that this can also be a way for people to learn from each other. So maybe ask a question in the comment. What about Reykjavik? Maybe you'll find yourself a beautiful lady like I found this one in Canada. I was like, I'm keeping this one. We are going to Denmark. We're going to Germany. We're going to the Netherlands.
I'm coming, baby. So thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and we hope that this helped even just a little tiny bit. And don't forget to check out Luisa to get that 15% discount.
Cheers!
Cheers!